I'm Rob Kutner, and don't be alone with Jake Hogan, but if you are a geneticist, do be a clone with him.
Don't be alone. Don't be alone. Don't be alone with Jake Hogan. Bonus episode!
Hey there, Kogan Nation, and welcome to Don't Be Alone with Jake Hogan. Thanks for being here. As always, I encourage you to email me at dbawjk@gmail.com to send me your comments, your suggestions, and especially your questions for my guests. This week, our guest is Rob Kutner, who's a great comedy writer. He's written many pilots and movies and comic books and books. He wrote a really funny book about the apocalypse and how to enjoy it. So you should consider getting that. But anyway, Rob will be here discussing what it means to be a Jewish writer in Hollywood. I know they're all Jewish. No, they're not all Jewish. And it's hard to figure out how much of your Jewishness you want to put out there, because Jewish Hollywood writers have made a living by not talking about Jewish things and just talking about, secular American things and putting themselves in other people's positions. And that's how we present. But lately, people have wanted writers to write their life experience. And if that's the case, then we should put out more of our Jewish culture. But lately, Jewish culture hasn't been so exciting to people. It's been controversial and difficult. And there's been more anti-Semitism now than there has been in many, many years. So it's worrisome. So what do you do creatively? What do you do culturally? And just what do you do? We'll be talking about that with our guest, Rob Kutner, right after this.
Don't be alone with Jake Hogan.
Rob Kutner, I want to officially welcome you to Don't Be Alone with Jake Hogan. You and I have known each other for many years.
Mm-hmm. Some would say too many.
You've said too many over the years, but it's okay. It's weird that you say it to me so often. I think
very temporary restraining order said too many specifically. But
we first introduced through the Stump. Is that possible?
Yes. You invited us to the Stump, I think, which
that's right.
Has reaped many dividends.
Yep,
many good friends, and
we've and your wife Cheryl is also a writer.
Yes,
and more talented, would you say, than you?
Oh yes, I would.
Yeah,
yes.
I mean, not just because you have to, because you're a husband.
Right.
But like.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
yes,
more talented.
Multiple levels.
And I think when I first met you, you were working on Dennis Miller or Conan?
Yeah, I was working on Dennis Miller, and I think Feldo was the introduction.
Okay,
that's how we met. We were both on that.
The reason anyone comes on Don't Be Alone with Jake Hogan is because I have a problem, and they're the expert who can help me with this problem.
Okay. In
this particular case, my problem is I'm Jewish.
Okay.
And so
I'm not the guy to help you with that, but
and I'm a writer.
Yeah.
And so I'm always, the last 5 to 10 years, they've always been the executives have always asked us, write your experience, write what you know, write your own culture, write your thing. And my culture is sort of a conservative / reform Jew life, and I don't know how universal it is. I mean, any American life is universal because it's the specifics. The more specific you dive into something, the more real it seems, and the more everybody else in their own culture can see, oh, I can see how this person's culture is affecting them like my culture affects me. So I'm good with that. But, there's a fair amount of anti-Semitism out in this world.
I would say unfair, but yeah.
Yeah, that's true. An unfair amount of anti-Semitism. And I'm not sure that we're not considered a diversity. Jews aren't considered diversity. We're considered just white people who are somehow in a cabal to control all of humanity.
Right.
And it's like,
I think we both be further in our careers if we had the cabal, right?
Well, if I had gotten further in the Jewish community and further in the Masons,
right,
both, I think I'd be like, Greg Berlanti or something. Just like have a lot of shows, a lot of things coming to me, and keep going. Yeah.
You wouldn't have podcast time, let's just say.
That's true. Although that's the new secret.
Right.
Is podcasting.
It's the
my road to success begins with my podcast.
Yes.
I recently got many new subscribers to this podcast.
Oh, yeah?
Do you know how?
No.
I asked them to subscribe. I went on for my
Wow,
birthday. I
you-
asked people
you-
to subscribe.
You manifested it, as
It's
the
true.
kids would say.
I just got a bunch of subscribers. So please, I'm asking you, anyone listening right now, go to YouTube and subscribe to Jake Hogan. Don't be alone with Jake Hogan. What does it cost you? Nothing. Nothing. And what does it get me? Nothing so far, but it could get me something.
The
It could-
illusion of validation.
the illusion of validation. No, apparently there's a number. Producer Ryan says there's a number that matters.
Yeah.
So I want to get to that number.
Right.
I'm not at that number yet.
Is it 666?
It's not. It's not. Don't. No, this is not that.
Right.
This is
Oh,
not, we're not
sorry.
saying
No
this.
cabal business. Sorry.
Oh dear God. So anyway, so you just produced a cartoon that I saw
Yeah.
called God's Gang,
Mm-hmm.
and in God's Gang there are 4 religions represented. It
Right.
seems.
Yes.
Christianity,
Mm-hmm.
Judaism, Hinduism, and Islam.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Right so far.
Okay. What made you sort of go down the road of taking religion as a concept and sort of translating it into a cartoon for, I imagine, for adults and children?
Yeah. Well, it wasn't my idea. It was something that someone came to me with.
So I'm talking to the wrong guy entirely.
Yeah. We can patch him in if you want.
Okay.
It was actually an Israeli dude, interestingly enough, who used to be a Disney marketing exec a long time ago, and he always thought it would be cool to do sort of a Power Rangers, but where their action team and all of them are from different faiths.
Right.
And they work together. That's what this show is also. But Disney, for some reason, didn't want to touch anything that is about religion or world cultures or hasn't been made by Disney already previously. The short version is that because religion is such a divisive topic, they thought if we walk in the front door at Netflix and these other places, forget the fact they don't know what they're making right now anyway.
Right.
They're going to say religion, forget it. That's controversial.
Right.
He said, let's grow it. Let's put it online. Let's make the pilot of this for free.
Right.
Put it online and see if it grows an online audience. And if it shows that lots of people are excited and signing up for it, then we can come back to the buyers and the studios and say, look, there's organic interest in it. And that's actually working, I think.
Oh, fantastic. So if our audience wanted to see God's Gang,
They can't.
they can. You said it's for you said it's online. You
They have to subscribe to your podcast first.
Okay. Subscribe to Don't Be Alone with Jake Hogan, and then
Theoretically, they would go to godsgang.com where you can watch the pilot and the trailer and all that. And just my plug, just to get the plug out of the way, is that if you I sound like one of my son's YouTubers, but if you smash that like button, if you like and subscribe, then just literally those numbers, like we've gotten 1 million YouTube followers right now. So we're going to go into.
You have 1 million followers? I have 200.
Right. See,
What's going on?
I think you should join God's Gang, Jay.
Oh my gosh.
Join the gang.
I have 200 followers and he's got 1 million for his crazy religious show.
crazy.
Religious cartoon.
Right.
All right, well, good.
Right. So
Of the 1 million, did you say how many?
1 million.
1 million. Of the 1 million, how many do you think are insane evangelical Christians?
Well, that's interesting because they have had a negative reaction.
Is that right?
Well, first of all, the craziest thing is that you know what YouTube comments are like.
Sure.
Never read the comments, right? Mm-hmm. They've been almost unfailingly positive, which is shocking. People are like, this seems like a good idea.
Yeah.
And then you've got sort of the sort of snark crowd who's like, yikes, just like the way that millennials and Gen Z sort of react to anything.
Right.
And then you've got but interestingly, a bunch of evangelical. We were sort of expecting more blowback from, I don't know, maybe Islam, maybe Hindu, I don't know, maybe some Jews. But it's been a bunch of evangelical Christians who don't like the idea of all of them being sort of equated.
Right.
There's
there's
only
one
path.
religion that
Right.
should be supreme.
And then we have some other religions, which is interesting because our Christian character is African American and he was inspired by a Baptist minister who's one of our advisors. We have religious advisors from all the faiths, and he's this, and so a lot of actually African American Christians have gone online and say they really like it because they, there's a little bit of representation and it's the kind of Christianity they grew up with is, spread the love and that sort of stuff.
Right. So that each one of the characters has its own superpower.
Right.
With the Christian, what is his?
He has the power of cheek block, which means he can turn the other cheek and actually actually defend against attacks.
Okay, so it's like a ricochet effect.
Yes.
Okay,
yes.
and then the Islamic character is a great storyteller, can mesmerize people with his stories.
Yeah, it's comes from the sort of Arabian Nights sort of Islamic Arabic story.
The Hindu character is kind of like Aquaman. She could talk to the animals and nature.
So we polled sort of all the faith leaders and said, what are the most important values to you? And the Hindu advisor, which I knew the least about, said connection in nature.
Right. And the Jew is a forensic accountant.
Yes,
Why?
right.
That
he can give you 2 sets of books or 3.
Right.
Well, there's a funny bit about that, which is that he has this sort of Talmudic ability to kind of like size up a situation, kind of like Terminator view. Like he can look at things
It
like.
seemed like all these other people are doing the thing. His was super intellectual.
Right. Well, I mean, it has like when you see it, like it has like a visual kind of like, it looks
Yeah.
like the way the Terminator looks at things. Like it's like it grids out everything. Like here's the enemy, here's the obstacle.
Right. A beautiful mind.
Right, it's beautiful
Yeah,
mind
sure.
like. But the thing is, we called it the pun was the Anna laser, like
Okay.
because it's laser.
Mhm.
But this is before Marjorie Taylor Greene.
Ah, okay.
So one of the many comments we got on this was like, "Oh, Jews and lasers! I see what you're doing there," not knowing
Right.
that actually Jews had literally come up with this.
Sure. Digging back deeper into your religion. Now, you characterize yourself as an observant Jew.
Mm-hmm.
What does that mean to you?
It doesn't mean observant in the sense of noticing things around. Maybe
No.
If you ask my wife,
No, I mean religion. Like how closely do you follow?
so I'm not Orthodox,
right.
But I am someone who sort of observes Shabbat in the sense that we have Shabbat dinner, don't work on Shabbat, don't do anything creative, don't buy things. But like we use electronics at home, that sort of thing, which
Right.
an Orthodox person would not do. We do drive on occasion, that sort of thing. Again, not Orthodox, but like we sort of try to sort of keep it as a different spiritual day. Same thing with kosher. We don't eat non-kosher meat or shellfish. Don't eat meat and milk, but would eat in a restaurant if we sort of satisfied that the. When I say we, it's sort of I'm probably the most religious in my family. but-
Right. I'm also not a very religious Jew.
Right.
I'm culturally Jewish, but I don't believe in many of the tenets of
Right.
God, which pisses some of the people off in my Torah study group.
Right,
Like, so,
right.
like, well, if you don't believe in God, what are you doing here? It's like, well, I'm
It's a
interested.
very typical Jewish position.
Yeah.
Right.
And it's not a religious position. It's more of a, it's just more of a heritage of what I have. I also just I like that culture. I grew up in that culture. I'm comfortable in that culture.
Right.
And I like many of the traditions of my culture.
Mhm.
And that's fun. I don't like all the sad music.
Right. Right.
And
Can I have a major key, please?
yeah, and then not great food.
Yeah.
I really like not
well, that's
great food.
Ashkenazic food, to be fair. Like,
Yeah, well, that's my culture.
yeah, but okay, but you could go further abroad with Jewish food. And,
Yeah, I
you know,
could
much
get the Spanish versions of
Sephardic
stuff that's
foods,
good. Yeah,
yeah,
and
right.
it'd be great, but we don't.
We don't, right?
But I mean, matzo ball soup's great. A+.
Right.
Matzo ball soup.
No notes. Yeah.
Yeah, no notes. But I mean, it's like there's lots of other things that are just
Yeah.
not.
Sometimes you want some salt.
Exactly.
Um,
Kosher meat, not always the best.
Right.
Not always the
right,
best.
Right.
And flavors and
Right. I mean, that's just it's it's Eastern European stuff.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
just most people don't necessarily. Hey, you guys going to check out the Eastern European place?
it's true. That's Eastern Europe.
Guys, Thai or Slavic tonight? What's it going to be?
It's true. It's terrible. I mean,
I brought Croatian home. One too
my
many.
ancestors in the Ukraine,
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure they were eating dirt,
Yeah, right. Like, what else can we make with potatoes?
right? Beets, roots,
Right. Cabbage,
things,
right.
things that they can scrape out of the ground. So I guess the question I have is like, how do you incorporate your Judaism
Mm-hmm.
into your work,
Mm-hmm.
and how much is affected? How much is it not affected? Of course, our histories and who we affect everything we do. It's where our mind, but specifically, not that we want to indoctrinate. I don't want to indoctrinate people into Judaism. That's not. We don't even proselytize. We don't care. We aren't asking people to sign up to be Jews. And if we were, that'd be a bad business right now. But I've written things. I've written a Frasier episode where Frasier had to pretend to be Jewish, and I've written a Simpsons episode that they got involved with the Talmud.
Now, did you pitch those, or were those assigned to you as the one Jew at both,
No,
both those rooms?
I pitched the Simpsons episode, basically the jazz singer, Krusty the Clown, as the jazz singer.
Right.
Yeah, that was something that me and Wally and I pitched to and campaigned for and got. And the Christmas episode where everybody had to pretend to be Jewish was not my idea, but it was something that I worked on in the room with a lot of other people. And I wasn't the only Jew at Frasier. But I was the loudest Jew at Frasier.
The goyishest show ever, probably.
Yes, it was a very goy room. But that was, a lot of the greatest Jew jokes in that script came from non-Jews.
I worked in late nights, so there wasn't like as many call for like stories, like, you know, in scripted, like you worked in an episodic,
Right.
you want to draw on stories that come from your life. And late night, it's more about like bits and gags and jokes.
Right.
And just like what happened with you is a lot of the funny things Jewish things that have come on the shows I've worked on have been pitched and sometimes written by non-Jews. And I was sort of called in just to sort of vet them
Right.
at the end, but I wouldn't have thought to pitch them like,
Right.
but of course, everyone in my family and friends and my family's friends would ask me, did you do that? Did you do that?
We've developed shows before together. There's a really great cartoon that we developed. I still
Right.
want to.
Right.
I'm still pitching
Yeah.
out there. This sort of noir mystery
Mm-hmm.
cartoon, and I don't think any of the characters in there are Jewish.
Right.
And
right.
it wouldn't occur to me like, that's a great place. There are characters who are black, and there are characters who are,
Right.
you know, many other things, but none who seem to be Jewish. And I think, well, is that something we're missing? Is that something that we should be leaning into more? Especially now, even now that it's a big controversial subject, even now that, you know, people are saying, you know, anti-Semitism is on the rise, and we're both concerned about it. We've been a member of, like, I've seen you at places where we're trying to sort of figure out how we can combat it, anti-Semitism.
Right.
It's like, but is by putting more Jewish characters front and center in media helpful? Or maybe that's just proof to them that, well, the Jews control the media.
That's the other thing too, is like, it's like, I feel like there's been so many things, especially in recent years, like, I don't know that I'm the one who needs to bring it forward. And maybe it is just sort of like being in a comedy room and saying, hey guys, I'm Jewish. And it's like, yeah, so are 6 of us.
Right.
It doesn't seem like that interesting as a differentiator.
What do you think the most interesting Judaism centered or featured show has been?
I'm actually kind of a fan of Stiesel. Have you seen that?
Yes.
Yeah.
But that's an Israeli show.
It is Israeli,
Yeah.
but what's interesting about that show too is that even though it's obviously a very traditional Jewish,
First, we should describe
Yeah.
it. It's basically a soap opera
yeah,
that
it's
takes
very much
place
a
in
soap-
Israel.
Right.
And it features Orthodox Jews, for the most part, Orthodox Jews living in an Orthodox Jewish life.
Right.
And that part of it is almost beside the point. It's about fathers and sons and relationships
that's
and
what's so
marriage.
interesting about it is
Yeah.
that it's almost not very Jewish in terms of its
Right.
like structure. Like, you know, like there's rules and there's things that are just implicit in the community, but it's almost like they're almost like Larry David, like, here's the thing you don't do.
Right.
You know, just things that are supposed to be obvious, but you never see them like build a sukkah
Right.
or like blow a shofar
Right.
or like refrain from bacon, you know.
Right. And by blowing a shofar, for those of you who don't know, it's a horn that people blow at a holiday time, not something dirty. I'm just gonna say
Look
that
at
right.
Jay introducing more Jewish content. There you go. Hitting that,
Now,
beating
when I
that drum
watch
again.
Stiesel, which is a great show, the only thing, the beards kind of bug me.
Yeah.
Everybody's beards. I think food is in their beard. Like, it always seems dirty.
Right.
Everything seems dirty.
The OCD part of you.
Yeah.
Right.
Honestly, a little bit of it. When I watch Stiesel, I think they got to clean up that house.
Now, what's going on with that, Jay? What's it about?
I don't know. I'm very concerned about, TV. And Frasier, the room looked clean.
Right.
You know,
right.
I want
There was no beards allowed. Right?
And even in The Sopranos.
I can't even handle pictures of Kelsey Grammer with a beard nowadays. I'm so
No, it's upsetting. But so Stiesel. But has there been an American show or show from?
I guess maybe the closest has been Crazy Ex-Girlfriend, where
Yeah.
where Rachel Bloom has sort of like leaned into Jewish identity, and there's every now and then has done some stuff about that, like the Jap rap was sort of infamous and things like that.
Yeah.
Where I think it's just become a little bit part of the texture, maybe in a more like typical way. And maybe that's also making me think like, okay, well, this doesn't need to be, if I was Native American or, disabled, which is, I have 2 sort of communities I pay attention to, I would be saying like, yes, we need more different kinds of representation of us. And I think that's starting to happen with Native things. There's a lot, really kind of a renaissance for that.
Right.
And, I think that it's sort of reached a healthy level, I guess.
Here's the thing. I think that we are I have been under the misapprehension all these years that Jews were just part of American culture and that we just flow right in and we're just
funny story.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And we're accepted as like a
Right.
silly anomaly, but I feel like that's not necessarily true anymore. I
know.
feel like that there's
it makes
a real,
me feel bad for our kids because it's like I feel like we got this sort of golden age.
yeah, when we were living a lie, and that was
Right.
fine. It was good.
Right.
But now it's the most recent the troubles
Yes.
the troubles
Yeah.
in the Middle East have let people sort of let their anti-Semitism flag fly.
Right.
Not hidden in, or not so hidden in a cloak of anti-war.
Right.
And so like I get you can be anti-war and not be anti-Semitic. That is
Right.
absolutely 100%
Right.
true. You can be anti-Israel or anti the way Israel is conducting the war and not be anti-Semitic.
This is Homer saying, explain how.
It's just like, hey, I am anti, cluster bombs falling in places
Right,
where there are
right,
cities
right.
and schools and kids. I know, yes, that's their trick. They're hiding soldiers in the middle of hospitals and
Right,
schools.
right.
And I would say, well, okay, that's a good place to hide.
Right.
And those guys get to hide there unless we have like a special team of Navy SEALs or something going in under to make sure that we don't kill the people in the hospital
Right.
and people in the schools.
Right.
Like, it's not a win for Israel to kill the soldiers in the school if they kill everybody else in the school.
Right.
It's
right,
not a
right,
win.
Right.
So I would say, yes, protest against that. Let's stop that.
Right.
But I'm not protesting against Jews existing. So here we are. But I worry about our kids, and I worry
Right.
about how Judaism is perceived, and I worry that if you make a character Jewish,
Right.
what it says to the non-Jewish world about that character just from the get-go. Do they hate this character? Do they like this character?
Right.
Is it a problem? Is it not a problem? So
Right.
I don't know. I mean,
It's interesting because I think sometimes it seems like the test of when I think a marginal group has achieved full representation is when they can be presented as a villain.
right.
Confidently as a villain, people can just say, oh, that's a fictional version of, that's one flavor of this kind of person. And
Right.
and I feel like now if you pitched a Jewish villain, it would get memed and taken sincerely as a, you know what I mean?
So you think that's a moment of acceptance?
I think it's a retreat in a way.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like a few years ago, you could have really villainous,
Right.
Villainous, like Larry David, like villainous Jewish characters
Right.
who are just really selfish and all that stuff. And I think nowadays I would be reluctant to put that forward
Right.
because I feel like the PR is so bad already. And
Yeah, I agree. And what should we do about that?
the regression is almost like you have to go backwards and create more sort of saintly Jewish characters.
Positive Jewish
Positive
characters,
ones, which
yeah.
is sort of, I feel like, not progress exactly, but
Right. So we should create a show about Jewish characters that go around the city
yes.
helping people or, bestowing magic powers upon people or something. I don't know.
Yes, bestowing space lasers upon people.
The space lasers are not helpful. So what should I do? Give me help me. What should I do? Should we, because we work together on occasion.
Yeah.
Should we create shows that have nothing to do with Judaism, but just infuse it with our own cultural biases and wisdom and thoughts and give characters?
I would do one of two things. I mean, I think there's a lot of interesting corners of Judaism that could work. Like, for example, like a mixed scenario, like you just put your finger on it, like a Jew and a black were married. Like that, to me, that's an interesting, spicy, sitcom premise, because you can sort of have the best of both worlds and you can sort of explore that. What happened in history. Like, to me, that's interesting. Or I kind of lean towards.
Is that even legal for a Jew and a black to marry?
Well, depends on what state we think.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like doubly illegal, but
Sure.
it's a double negative, so
Right.
then it's illegal again. Or then there's also really a lot of interesting parts of Jewish occult and fantasy,
Right.
the golem has sort of been explored, but there's a lot of things that I'm in a more fantastical bent, as you know. So
Yeah.
to me, I would maybe start with one of those areas, I think. But I don't know if, it's like what you described as your Jewish experience, it might just be that it's a little bit it might be a little bit more generic still to the suburban,
Yeah, I mean,
middle class experience it's not that different because you weren't from an immigrant family.
that's right. I don't have I think my suburban middle class life is not shockingly different from most suburban middle class lives.
My wife has told me that I should, because my best friend was black at this high school that I went to, this Christian school, and I'm not just saying that so I can make a black joke, but
The Westminster schools?
yes, wow, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, you're going to say it by name. It's fine.
Okay, Jay Kogan PI here. No, but so my wife has said that would make a great show, is the Jew and the black, going, and it was also very conservative, preppy,
Right.
stuffy prep school, coming up together in this, and we were both politically liberal, and the school the people were not predominantly, so us us against the world would be an interesting show as well.
Yeah. I mean,
And I've been reluctant for some of the same reasons.
yeah. Well, maybe we should be more forward thinking, I think, maybe braver. I mean, listen, it's a shitty environment to pitch anything anyway.
Yeah,
So why
that's
not
true.
pitch something that's a little bit more challenging?
Right.
All right. Well, Rob, you have helped me, as most guests here have helped me, not at all, not a whit.
Right.
You really haven't
Your
helped
hour's
me.
up, Jay.
No, but I mean, I'm glad we discussed it.
I think the short answer is like I think Judaism is interesting where it intersects with other things. I think that's a creative springboard that I think would be interesting to Hollywood and to us.
Yeah.
And maybe by itself it doesn't have the interest outside of our community, at least right now.
So now we have the moment of joy.
Oh, okay.
A moment of joy.
This is the most middle-aged dad answer you can think of, but
Your kids?
oh, that would be good.
No, you can't say your kids.
No, I can't say
I'm
my
excluding
kids.
that.
Fighting with my teenage daughter. No, I started playing the bass about 2 years ago.
Okay.
And I'm not very good, but I'm good enough to like learn some songs
Right.
that I know. And so like whenever I sit down, like there's a period of when like, oh my God, I'm never gonna get this.
Right.
And then it cracks. I crack the song open at some point and I'm able to kind of get through it. And I'm like, when I can do that and play with the song, it sounds so basic, but it feels to me like I've tapped into something that I've always enjoyed passively, and now I can sort of be part of it.
What's your favorite song to play right now?
Well, I'm actually learning. Been learning Barracuda by heart, which is really hard on the bass. Actually, it's really fast.
Uh-huh.
So I've been learning at 75% speed.
Okay.
And I just started doing it at full speed yesterday, which almost killed my fingers. But
Congratulations.
But it's been a challenge for
That's
my old
fantastic.
man fingers.
And can you jam? Are you good enough to jam with people?
I'm not at that point yet. That's my
Okay.
next step, because that's a whole level of music theory,
Right.
and musicality, and I didn't really have that kind of training.
Right.
But with bass, they put the notes out in a certain way where you can just follow the numbers and tell you where your fingers go
Sure.
and stuff like that.
No,
So
you
I
can-
want to get into the jamming stuff, but
Yeah.
it's a whole different level.
Yeah, I mean, once you sort of figure out chords,
Yeah.
Then
yeah.
you're-
just
then
like
you're good.
music relationships.
yeah,
and
I mean,
sort
that
of stuff.
can, when you're jamming, people will call out
right. Just,
sometimes like, this is a C, F, G
and
song.
then you know the whole scale and
Yeah,
all the
yeah.
stuff. That's the dream.
All right.
But
You'll get there. You'll get there.
yeah.
Barracuda is interesting. Was that song meaningful to you? Why'd you pick that?
I just any kind of like predatory sea life to me as a
Wow.
musical inspiration. No, I just honestly like. Here's the thing: I drive around, I hear the songs. Now I listen for the bass parts kind of
Right.
actively, and if I and it has a very cool like in a creative bass part. Like sometimes there.
Ticket to Ride. Why aren't you practicing Ticket to Ride?
I did play that with someone earlier. A lot of bass parts are just like honestly like a bunch of eighth notes, and then it changes notes, and then another bunch of eighth notes, and then it changes back to the first ones, and then the third one. So it's rhythmic and it's fun, but then like Barracuda like does a lot more interesting things with rhythm. So
Yeah, I mean, I Want You Back. Did you do I Want You Back?
no, that's a good one.
It's a great bass song.
Yeah.
It's like some songs are just the scream to me.
Right.
Play the bass.
Right. And then other ones that are like way too hard, like all the progressive rock ones that
Yeah.
are just like Baroque bass parts with,
No, those are for masters.
you gotta have that middle of the road. with
Yeah,
me.
I mean, junior, any sort of
Challenging, but not
1960s rock and roll song, anybody should be able to play, because those people who
Right.
played the bass on those songs weren't good either.
right.
So
right.
you should be able to do that.
They were drafted to play the bass from off the street right before the
Yeah.
session. Right.
All right, well, Phil, thank you for being here, Rob.
Yeah. thanks for having me.
It was great to see you. Thank you for explaining your stance on all things.
I think we got a little done here today.
We did. We got a little done here. It's just like the bass practice. We
Right,
just got a
exactly.
little bit of
Right. We
Barracuda
didn't quite
in.
crack it, but we got a few notes.
And thank you, my audience, for being here. You non-million of you. They don't. Not. I don't have a
that
million.
again. Here we
You
go.
son of a bitch.
Well, now it begins. The Kutner bump is in effect.
So I expect 1 million viewers soon. But until then, thank you for watching and being part of the show. And the whole point of the show is don't be alone. So you don't be alone. Go talk to somebody, make a phone call, make a connection with somebody, and hopefully I will connect with you someday soon. I'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.